Good morning, beloved ones. Welcome to Unity. Such a blessing to see your names and your faces. I'm so grateful to welcome you into the love vibration that is Unity of Bellevue. We are a place where we are learning to love, to grow, to serve, to love God and love one another more fully, to grow in our spiritual understanding and to serve the greater good. I'm Reverend Marla Mason, and it is my privilege and my honor to serve as your minister. This month, we are launching a new theme, Dare to Be. Just embrace and embody the courage to be all that God would have you be. Be an isness, a beingness. What is the way that you are called to be here on planet Earth that is authentic, that is real, that is expressing of your divinity, that is evolutionary for yourself and for the entire planet? Our guide this month is this book, Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. She is one of my favorite contemporary teachers. I think she's quite brilliant. And this work is the work of accepting transformation as the way of the world. And you might remember, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Our spiritual teaching is about renewing ourselves in the consciousness of the infinite every single day by the power of spiritual practice and by the power of spiritual community. So all month long, this is what we're going to be talking about. I am so grateful to be supported and assisted in my work as your minister by a powerful group of people. One of those people this morning is Lori Coleman. She gave us a terrific meditation service. It was just what I needed. Anybody else who was there? It was really great. Thank you, Lori, for your commitment and your service to our community and your commitment to your own growth and expression of your spiritual understanding. Our board host today is Dorothy Bostetter. She's also stepping in for Monica, who is taking a day off today. So you'll hear from Dorothy a little bit later, not only with the offering, but also with the announcements. Our producer this morning is Sabrina McFadden. Thank you, Sabrina, for holding down the tech side. I am so very, very grateful that we have those skills in our community. And then I want to introduce Kit Holmes. She's our guest artist today. And you might remember she was our guest artist last week via video. And I promised you last week that she was going to be here live today. Guess what? She's not here live. She is here via video. Again, something came up for her, and she very, very graciously provided us with some videos to share with you. She's a powerful presence. She's a terrific musician. She's the Centers for Spiritual Living Minister. She's based in Michigan right now, and she is joining us with some beautiful music to anchor us in the consciousness of spirit this morning. Sabrina, let's have Kit's first song.
Welcome to this loving place. There are no strangers here. Welcome to this place of open hearts. Thank you for being here. You're welcome anytime, every time, just the way you are. Welcome to this joyful place. Let the celebration begin. Namaste, namaste, come on in. Welcome to this loving place. There are no strangers here. Welcome to this place of open hearts. Thank you for being here. You're welcome anytime, every time, Namaste, come on in. Namaste, namaste, come on in. Namaste, namaste, come on in.
And so we breathe that in. We breathe in the awareness of the spirit, the presence within, the namaste within each one of us. We know that there is something greater, a mind, a presence, an energy, a beingness. We call it God, God the good, God the infinite, God the omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent. And we simply allow ourselves right now to be lifted into a greater awareness of this being, of this infinite is. And breathe it in, feel it, every cell in your body coming alive with it. And in this awareness, in this consciousness of isness and our oneness with it, I give thanks for the opportunity to come together in spiritual community this morning, to deepen and grow in spirit, to open our hearts and minds to the music, to the message, to the opportunity to dive deep into spiritual community with one another, for here is where the work is done, deep within. And I am so grateful. And so I open this gathering with a grateful heart and I call it good. And so it is. Amen. I'm going to share today's affirmation with you. I will read it through once. I invite you to hear these words with an open mind, with an open heart, as though they were already true for you, because indeed they are. Allowing these words to permeate every moment of your consciousness. I lay aside all fear and step confidently into a deep and abiding peace. I am willing to change. I am willing to be. As I trust that God is good and life is for me, I am transformed, and so it is. Breathe in. And breathe out. And I invite you to now speak these words with me confidently and boldly. I lay aside all fear and step confidently into a deep and abiding peace. I am willing to change. I am willing to be. As I trust that God is good and life is for me, I am transformed. And so it is. And so it is. Now, typically we have another song right now, and we do have another song for you, but I want to cue this song up a little bit because today is our Pet Blessing Sunday. And I was thinking this week about all the ways that we use figures of speech that include animals. She works like a dog, eats like a pig. Somebody else eats like a bird. All the ways that these animal metaphors enrich our lives. I was thinking, sometimes we talk about how herding people in unity is like herding cats. Getting people in unity together is like herding cats. But I know that that's because we don't want to be a pack of lemmings, or we don't want to be a herd of sheep, right? People get our goat, and people are as timid as a mouse. There's just lots of different ways that our relationships and our assessments of the behavior and beingness of animals has informed our language with figures of speech. And sometimes they're not always accurate, are they? But sometimes they are. And yet beyond that, the animals in our lives touch our lives in really unique and beautiful and special ways. Our connection to the creaturely world, if you will, it comes through the companionship and the loyalty and the unconditional love the pets who share our homes provide, doesn't it? How many of you have pets in your home? Or you've had pets and you've had the experience of that unconditional love, that loyalty. And we're responsible then for their food, for their shelter, for their veterinary care, for loving them in return. And to that extent, we are their keepers, aren't we? And yet they do not belong to us. We do not own them. They are their own beings. We care for them and they care for us by being those sources of unconditional love and loyalty. And so whether you have an animal in your life right now or not, I just invite you into that awareness that the unconditional love, the loyalty that these creatures provide to us in our lives are very godlike in that beingness, aren't they? We are loved by the infinite in exactly the same way I'm loved by my cat. Like my cat loves me no matter what. God loves me no matter what. And I think that's one of the reasons they're so close to our hearts, is that they're so godlike in their beingness. They're loyal to us. They are present to us. All they want is a few little crunchies. And we effortlessly and lovingly provide that to them because we know that God does not ask much of us. It simply loves. And so today we have a video to share with you of some of the beloveds of our community. You were invited to send in some photos of your kitty cats or your puppy dogs or your lizards or your snakes or whatever it is you might have. If you sent in that picture, your animal will be here in the slideshow. If you did not, we're going to just know that your pet, your beloved, we're going to welcome them and bless them in consciousness today, because we know there's no time and space in God. I'm also realizing that I closed something I shouldn't have closed, and I can't copy and paste the thing that I want to copy and paste for you. As we move through this video, we are going to speak a word of blessing on each of these pets. And it's a very simple blessing. Bless you and the name. And thank you for blessing our lives. I'm putting it in the chat right now. Bless you and the pet's name, which you'll see on the screen in front of you. And then thank you for blessing our lives. And as you do this, it's not the words that bless. Do you understand? It's the consciousness that blesses. And so what I invite you to do is really look at each one of these beloved creatures on the screen in front of you, and to breathe into the essence, the life essence that they are, and to see them as creations of the infinite and divine at their very beingness. And then say the words to that part of these beings, bless you and their name. Thank you for blessing our lives. And at the conclusion of the slideshow, we'll have some prayer and then we'll move on. Sabrina, would you please begin?
They bark and meow, they run and they sleep, they scamper and jump and they lie on the couch, they nicker and neigh, they slither and creep, they pounce and they scurry, they crawl and they crouch. The creatures we love are a sacred delight, with eyes that are bright and with tongues that are off. They brighten our days and they wake us at night. Our praises we sing for the creatures we love.
with fins and with fangs, with feathers and fur. They rest in their cages and swim in their tanks. Each squeak and each squawk, each judder and purr joins in with creation in offering thanks. The creatures we love bring us wonder and joy. They help us get through when the going is tough. They open our hearts even when they annoy. Our praises we sing for the creatures we love. They leap from the chair, they prowl in the woods, they knead and they cuddle, they snuggle and sigh. The essence of proof creation is good, a blessing we cherish for all of our lives. The creatures we love are an instant of grace. The tiny, the giant, each one is enough. A part of the ultimate holy embrace. Our praises we sing for the creatures we love. Our praises we sing for the creatures we love.
And so we do give thanks for these creations of the infinite, those that so richly bless our lives. And we give thanks for our place in creation and all the animals that express as the very divinity that they are, as part of the infinite ecosystem of planet Earth and the galaxy. I am so very grateful for all of creation. And I am especially grateful this day for the precious ones that are our companions and provide all the unconditional love, loyalty, peace, and grace we could ever desire. I declare a blessing on them all and speak a word of gratitude for them and for their enriching of our lives. And so I close this blessing grateful and fulfilled. And so it is. Amen. Aw, those are our fuzzy family, aren't they? I fully anticipate that this time next year in our pet blessing, we will be back to having them creating havoc in our building as they have in the past when we've had our pet blessing in our building. In fact, you probably know, most of you, that we are reopening our building on December 5th. And you know what? I want to make something really clear, because, you know, a number of times people have said to me recently, when are we reopening? When are we reopening? We have never been closed. Unity of Bellevue has never been closed. We are open for business. We are serving. We are present to our mission. We are present to our members and our congregants. And we are present to the opportunity that we are provided with every day to love, grow, and serve more deeply and more fully in the realm in which we live. And so yes, we reopen our building on December 5th, and I'm super excited about it. You'll learn more about that, and you can get your questions about that answered. Just know that 10 a.m. meditation, 10:30 celebration at Unity of Bellevue. You are welcome to be there. We will also be live streaming, so look forward to that as well. Today, I want to talk about the paralyzing power of never enough is the name of the message. And I picked up that name right out of this book. I told you Daring Greatly is our guide this month. And as I was preparing this week, I realized, the paralyzing power of never enough. It is absolutely true that ideas of scarcity and lack and never enough paralyze us. But a better title for this message might have been The Liberating Power of Enough. Because we like to keep our attention, we like to accentuate what's working, right? And even though we want to talk about and acknowledge, we would not deny the culture of scarcity in which we live, we also, in the same moment, our intention is always to affirm the infinite beingness of God in the midst of conditions. And so let us talk today about the liberating power of enough, of enoughness. I want to define the scarcity challenge that we face in our culture a little bit. And I'm going to start by reading from page 26 of this book. Brene Brown says, scarcity is the never enough problem. Scarcity thrives in a culture where everyone is hyper aware of lack. Everything from safety and love to money and resources feels restricted or lacking. We spend inordinate amounts of time calculating how much we have, how much we want, how much we don't have, how much everyone else has, how much we think we need. I'm editing a little bit here, editorializing a little bit here. How much we want. What makes this constant assessing and comparing so self-defeating is that we are often comparing our lives, our marriages, our families, our communities to unattainable, media-driven visions of perfection. Or we're holding our reality against our own fictional account of how great someone else has it. Nostalgia can also be a dangerous form of comparison. Does anybody do this the way it used to be? Think about how often we compare ourselves and our lives to a memory that nostalgia has completely edited so much that it never really existed. Scarcity does not take hold in a culture overnight, but the feeling of scarcity does thrive in shame-prone cultures that are deeply steeped in comparison and fractured by disengagement. Is this familiar to anyone right now? Worrying about scarcity is our culture's version of post-traumatic stress. It happens when we've been through too much. And rather than coming together to heal, which requires vulnerability, we're angry, scared, and at each other's throats. It's not just the larger culture that's suffering. The dynamics play out in family culture, work culture, school culture, community culture. They all share the same formula of shame, comparison, and disengagement. Scarcity bubbles up from these conditions and perpetuates them until a critical mass of people start making different choices and reshaping the smaller cultures they belong to. Now, that was kind of a long reading, wasn't it? But I really wanted to get to her point. This notion of scarcity is permeating our culture, and it's permeating our individual consciousness, and it's paralyzing. It creates separation and division and disengagement. It prohibits healing. It stops us from being vulnerable enough to move forward into a more healing attitude. And this will continue until the very last half of the last sentence, until a critical mass of people start making different choices and reshaping the smaller cultures they belong to. You see, we must reshape our individual self, and reshape the smaller groups. Our spiritual community is a smaller culture. Our child's school is a smaller culture. Our local neighborhood is a small culture. Do you see, we reshape our smaller culture one at a time until we embrace a new way of being collectively, such that the world is transformed. But one mind at a time. You see, when she's talking about daring greatly, she's talking about daring us to be about that work. She's talking about being the kind of person who can transform their own mind, their own thinking, their own way of being present to the blame, shame, and guilt that they embody, such that we can be a source of healing for our smaller culture, such that that can be a source of healing for the greater culture. And when we are camping out in scarcity and not enough, that cannot be done. Anybody camping out in scarcity and not enough? I gotta tell you, you know, my not enough story right now is time. Like, not enough time, not enough. It's a story. There's plenty of time to be about everything God would have me be about. That is the spiritual truth. And the story of scarcity and lack that just seems so real to me is not enough time. Yeah, ultimately. There's a lot of other story around that, right? But ultimately, that is what it's about. What is your story of scarcity right now? Not enough money? Not enough resources? Not enough time? Not enough love? Some of us have a story of scarcity around not enough love. And yet we know that the transformation of the greater world, the greater culture, starts with our individual transformation from that notion, that paralyzing power of not enough, to a liberating notion of enough and more than enough. And so I want to talk a moment about this word transform, because I'm going to use it a lot today. Transform, it's an interesting word. Trans always means across, right? It's a prefix that means beyond or across. So think of all the words you can think of that start with trans. It typically has something to do with the notion of crossing over or becoming or moving beyond. And form, what is a form? Well, you know, this coffee cup has a form, it has a shape, it has a contour. You know, this book has a pattern. That's form, isn't it? The noun form of form simply means shape or contour or pattern. What is its form? The verb form is to create, to form, right? I love this. To create, to shape, to mold. If I am forming something, I am shaping it and I am molding. And so to transform means that I am changing. I am moving beyond what currently is, the form, the structure that currently is. I am moving across or beyond it into something different. I am changing the composition of a structure. And today we're talking about a mental structure of scarcity. I am changing the composition of a mental structure into something different. And you might note this whole time I've been talking about a transformation that happens inside. How many of you have ever fallen into the habit of, when this changes, then I'll be good? Anybody? When I meet the right person, then I'll be happy. When I get the right job, then I'll be happy. When my boss quits, then I'll be happy. Do you see, so many of us, we spend so much of our lives waiting for something out there to change. when really the transformation can only happen in here. Nothing can change out there until we've changed in here. Have you noticed you get that same boss over and over and over again? You go from job to job to job, and you're not going to get a new boss until you got the new consciousness for the new boss. We just keep recreating the same situations over and over and over again. And if you want to know what you're thinking, you've heard me say this because Emma Curtis Hopkins says it. If you want to know what you believe, if you want to know what you're thinking, look at your results. That's going to tell you. And so many times we don't know what we're thinking, right? We just think we know what we're thinking. And so this job of transforming, of changing the current composition or structure of things out there begins within. And so the way to transform is to renew our minds, is to change our minds, is to know who we are and what we belong to practice knowing that, and to dare to show up and be seen as that. It takes courage, man, to stand in the truth of who you are. People are going to have all kind of opinions about it, aren't they? Have you ever withheld being vulnerable, being authentic, being real, because you're afraid of what somebody might say or think? I know I have. It takes courage to be in the liberating power of our enoughness. It takes courage to not just do the work in consciousness, but then to show up. Now, Brene Brown talks at length about this notion of wholehearted living. We are doing a class on her other book. This fall quarter is about the gifts of imperfection. The fall class is the gifts of imperfection. And that book she wrote is where she really defined this notion of wholehearted living, this idea of engaging in life from a place of worthiness. Wholehearted living is when we are engaging in life from such a powerful sense of worthiness that no matter what gets done or is left undone, I know I am enough. These are pretty much her exact words. That I know who I am with enough conviction, and I believe in my own value and my own worthiness, that enough that I go to bed each night confident I am enough. Have you ever woken up in the night, you're just like sick about something? Living wholeheartedly, we don't have to do that, because we know that no matter what got done or was left undone, no matter what was said or left unsaid, I am enough. And the idea of transforming our minds, renewing our minds, such that we can transform our culture. For me, her idea of wholehearted living is a powerful idea of a way. What if we were all wholehearted livers? I'm not talking about the organ in our body. What if we were all living wholeheartedly from a place of enoughness? Can you imagine how our culture would be transformed, and this trance of scarcity would evaporate? Because I know that I am enough. And the moment I know that I am enough, there is enough time. There is enough money. There is enough resources. There are enough friends. There is enough love. The moment I know that about me fully and deeply into the core of my being, I needn't to be concerned ever again about any resource or any notion or false idea of scarcity. And do I have the courage to walk that path of transformation? And become essentially more godlike, because God knows there's enough, right? Is God worried about, gosh, do I have enough stars? Not sure. Is there enough love? I don't know. God is not wondering if there's enough time. God is not wondering if there's enough love. God is not even wondering if it gets enough of your time. God doesn't care. God, never we talk about people. God is unconditional lovingness. That's all it is. All you have to do is show up and it will meet you where you are. Remember that piece? God meets us where we are. And when we show up as enough, enough is provided. And so the idea of wholehearted living, living from our own enoughness, is kind of the opposite of scarcity, isn't it? And we live in a universe of enough because God is enough. Ricky Byers has a great song, God is enough. God is enough for me. God is enough for me. God is enough for me. And from that place, that conviction, I can live a larger life. And I can spiral up and up and up and up. So this week and for the rest of this month, we're talking about, and we touched on the idea of intentions last month. This month, we're going to really begin to work with our intentions. And what I want to invite you to do, I'm going to talk about some potential intentions that you might have, and some potential ways to think about intentions from a place of enoughness. And as we look forward to the year 2022 as a community, what are our individual and collective intentions for how we wish to be in the coming year? And I want to be really clear that intentions are not goals. Okay? Goals are what we're going to do. And I'm not talking about what we're going to do. I'm talking about how do we want to be? What is the consciousness? Remember that transformation that happens from within out. What is the shift in consciousness? What is the shift in mind, in my heart, that has to take place such that I know that I am enough? I set intentions that support my own wholehearted living. And so I'm going to talk about some intentions that I'm in the process of setting for the coming year. And I invite you to think, as you hear these words, what some of your intentions might be. And then I'm going to tell you how you can write those down and send them into us at Unity. And we're going to do something very special with them. So the idea of like, how do we transform this scarcity culture we're in? We begin by transforming our own minds and having the courage to move out of this paralyzing power of not enough and into a new way of thinking and being. And so oftentimes when I'm looking for wisdom, I turn to the Bible. And I was looking for some wisdom around like, what are my personal intentions for 2022? And here was a really great inspiration. And this is one that I use quite a lot. This is from the Psalms. I think it's Psalm 46, be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Imagine that as a way of being. Be still. Still my mind. I don't know about you, when things start happening around me, sometimes my mind ping, 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 with opinions and judgments, ways of thinking that do not enhance a loving way of being. Here's the problem with all the pinging that my mind does. I find myself moving into anger and judgment. And oftentimes what I'm in anger and judgment about is other people being angry and judgmental. Do you see the essential issue with that? I'm duplicating the exact behavior that I'm upset about. And we are all doing that, people. We are all doing that. Just read the news. If I want to transform my mind first, my smaller culture, such that the culture is changed, I must simply be still. Shut up. Shut up a minute. Get quiet. And know that there is a greater consciousness that wants to make it self-known, through me and as me. Stop struggling for more. Stop judging. Stop declaring there's not enough time, there's not enough money, there's not enough safety, there's not enough love, there's not enough this. Stop it. The spiritual truth is we have enough. We have enough of everything. We're good. You have enough time. You have enough love. You have enough money. You have enough resources. You have enough safety because the universe meets you where you are and your consciousness of enoughness. God will meet that. So be still and know the spiritual truth and see what blossoms. This is one of my intentions for 2022. Another favorite that I had actually kind of forgotten about and I ran across this week is anchoring God. It's from the book of Hebrews, Paul's letter to the Hebrews. He says, anchor in God. God is the anchor for my soul. Firm. I mean, what does an anchor do? It holds me firm. It holds me in place. It is my intention in 2022 to be anchored in God, to anchor, to be held firm in my awareness that there is an infinite consciousness and an infinite love that is right where I am. And it will never leave me and it will never abandon me. It cannot. For it is the permeating consciousness and the permeating isness of all of creation. How can I be separate from it other than my belief in scarcity and lack, not enough God? Oh, please. How can that be? Infinite is infinite, y'all. A third intention really bears from my reawakened studies with Brene Brown recently. But I remembered that there is a psalm in which David says, give me an undivided heart. And then what? Brene Brown is talking about wholehearted living? What? Give me an undivided heart. It is my intention to live from an undivided heart in the coming year. Wholehearted living, knowing that I am enough, knowing that you are enough, knowing that the world is enough, the universe is enough. There is an inherent enoughness in the isness of the universe, and my heart is whole in that understanding because God cannot be divided. An infinity cannot be divided. The infinite nature of the living one, by definition, is a wholeness. My heart cannot be divided. I live from a whole heart. And my intention for 2022 is to be on fire for God. I gotta tell you, I'm not feeling a lot of fire right now. I need to recultivate that fire, right? The idea of being on fire for God in the book of Romans, chapter 12, Paul talks about don't let the fire in your heart go out. Don't let that fire go out. Spiritual renewal, physical renewal, spiritual practice, hanging out in spiritual community. What are the things that I can do and be? How can I be such that that fire just burns within me? And here's the thing, how do you keep a fire going, you guys? You put fuel on it. And how I commit in 2022 to be someone who puts fuel on my fire for God. Through spiritual practice, through giving, through supporting, through cultivating a way of being in the world that is anchored in enoughness and that is anchored in the generative nature of God. And it is my intention to stay on fire for God and to stay surrendered. Jesus said, remain in me and I will remain in you. Remain in me, that is, remain in the Christ consciousness. Fundamental unity teaching. Remain in the Christ consciousness. And the Christ consciousness will remain in you. That's the way it works. And so this idea of staying on fire and renewing and feeding the fire, remaining in that consciousness, this idea of cultivating that within me, and then those around me are touched, and those around them are touched. And as Brene Brown told us, until a critical mass of people start making different choices and reshaping the smaller cultures they belong to. And here's the little edit I'm going to add to that. Until a critical mass of people start making different choices from a different consciousness, from a transformed, a reformed consciousness. Because the choice that's made, oh, well, today for 5 minutes, I'm going to be nice to somebody. Cool, great, thank you for doing that. But if it's done out of obligation, it doesn't have stickiness. It's not going to stick, is it? We have to engage in these new ways of being, these new behaviors from a new idea of who we are and how we are in the world. So these are some of my intentions. I'll be spending the next week writing them out a little more clearly and getting them down on paper, because here's what's going to happen. I'm going to write each one of my 5 intentions for 2022 on a little piece of paper, and I'm going to fold that piece of paper in half the long way, and I'm going to send it back to Monica here at Unity. And Monica and I and a couple other folks are going to do a little project so that when we open our building on December 5th, you are going to see a collective representation of all of our intentions in our building. And I'm so excited to welcome you into that experience on December 5th. And we want you to send in your intentions. Now, some of you received a package this last week that had 3 long strips of paper in it on which you can write your intentions. And it had this little document that is how to set your intentions. And what we're asking you to do is set 1 intention for you, 1 intention for Unity of Bellevue, and 1 intention for the world. And send those back into us. And we are going to create a chain of intentions that has power behind it, because we go further together, we do more together. Now, if you did not receive that little packet this week, that's okay, you can still get it. Email Monica at info@unityofbellevue.org, and she'll send you out your little pieces of paper and your instructions, and maybe even 1 or 2 other things. We're happy to share that stuff with you, and I invite you to send it back. I also want you to begin at 11:35-ish today, maybe a little later. I'm talking a long time. We are going to have a little stewardship gathering in place of our regular monthly Q&A. We're going to have a stewardship gathering today. This is your opportunity to come together to allow us to celebrate you, our donors and our financial supporters who have made it possible for Unity in this 2021 to live into our purpose and into our intentions. We want to thank you for your support, and we want to let you know where we're going in 2022 and what's happening with the ministerial transition and all kind of stuff. So you're invited to attend that following the service. And I hope you come, because we're also going to give you the opportunity to think through your giving intentions for Unity in 2022. How are you called to demonstrate your support of this center through your financial support of the mission and what we're up to, and the transformative power of spiritual community to make a difference in the world? So that is all happening after the service. Right now, let's do a little bit of spiritual practice together that might support you in setting your own personal intentions for 2022. Our job right now is to transform ourselves, not anything out there, but something within. And so I invite you to breathe with me, to be still, to simply allow your mind to fall silent, to cease struggling, to stop, and move into an awareness. I am the infinite intelligence of the divine right where I am. God is. I cannot be separate from its mind. And so all that is known to the mind of God is known to me right here and right now. In the stillness, I allow God's intentions for my life to make themselves known. And you simply begin to allow the images or the pictures or the words or the ideas to flow. How am I called to be in the coming year? How am I called to be more wholehearted? How am I called to anchor more fully in the mind of God? How am I called to be such that I am on fire for the infinite, such that I remain in the consciousness of the infinite, such that it can remain in me? How must I transform my mind, my beingness, my thinking, to be set free, to move into the liberating power of enough? I am enough. And you simply allow yourself to know, and you might know right now. It might take a few hours or a couple of days. But you see yourself this week praying on and pondering on and defining these intentions, each in one sentence, such that they are easy to call forth as you move forward, transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so it's with a grateful heart that I close this message, knowing that something wonderful is stirring in each one of our hearts as our intentions are made clear this week. And so it is. Amen.
I am a conduit of peace. I am a vessel of love. I am the sacred earth below. I am the heavens above. Peace, be still and know I am God. I am a conduit of peace. vessel of love. I am the sacred earth below. I am the heavens above. Peace, be still and know I am God. I am a conduit of peace. I am a vessel of love. I am the sacred earth below. I am the heavens above. Peace, be still and know I am God.
That was lovely. Good morning. I'm Dorothy Bostetter. I am your board treasurer, and it is my honor to join with you in this sacred time of giving. We are conduits. We're conduits of love. We are conduits of abundance, of grace, of generosity, of compassion. And here at Unity, we express that abundance with our financial gifts and service to the community, which anchors us in the truth in all moments. Even when we forget, Unity is here to help us remember. There are many ways to give. You see them on the screen. As you enter into this time of giving with me, I invite you to join me in the offering affirmation, holding sacred the gift that you are to Unity. I give freely and for the joy of giving. I know that seeds sown in love produce an overflowing harvest of good for me, for this center, and for all people. Lovingly I give, joyfully I receive, and so it is.
And I simply declare a word of blessing on these gifts, knowing that they do a great and mighty good here in this community and in the world. Through the gift of our own tithe, I consecrate these gifts to that good work with a grateful heart. And so it is. Amen.
Amen. Hi, it's me again. Monica is off today, and I am here with your announcements. If you are visiting us virtually for the first time, we welcome you and we invite you to join us in all of our online offerings and events. The best way to stay informed and find out everything that we're up to is to sign up for our weekly e-newsletter. You can do that on our website at unityofbellevue.org. On the bottom of every page is the sign-up sheet. We have big news. You may have heard this a few Sundays ago. We are reopening our building on Sunday, December 5th. I was fortunate to see a few of you this week as I delivered a gift, and so many of you are so excited to be joining us back. Stay tuned for all the details in the weeks ahead. We will be continuing to offer some live streamed services as well. So we will be hybrid, and we will be asking everyone that comes in person to be fully vaccinated and masked. We are going to also have a holiday open house that day, which is super exciting. And we'll have some Unity artists and crafters there. So please come, enjoy the services in person, and do some holiday shopping. Our monthly Unity Community Connect is this Tuesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. The Zoom link is in the chat, and this is an opportunity to come together in community and to talk about who we are and where we're going and our plans for our future. Our prayer chaplains are available to pray, and since we won't be having a prayer circle today, you can send prayer requests to prayerchaplains@unityofbellevue.org or fill out the prayer request form on our website. Living What Matters meets this Wednesday, just as we always do, at 1 p.m. Pacific time. It's a free drop-in group focusing on different spiritual practices every week based on the Book of Soul by Mark Nepo. The Zoom link is in the chat. Please join us. Our new member class for this fall runs for 3 Tuesdays, beginning on November 16th at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. It's a free class for you to explore what it means to be a member here at Unity of Bellevue. And you'll also have the opportunity at the end of class to become a member if you so choose. The men's group meets this Saturday, the 13th at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. The Zoom link is in the chat. And finally, today is Q&A Sunday. Although we will be focusing on our 2022 stewardship, we'll be talking about what happened in 21. And we will be taking a 3-minute break after the service. And so just please stay logged in to the Zoom meeting and Zoom service, and we'll see you there. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorothy. Hey, y'all, do stick around for our stewardship gathering here in a few minutes. You'll have a chance to learn a lot about what's going on and also get your questions answered. Join me on Wednesday for Living What Matters, and come on Tuesday as well for the Unity Community Connect. It's a great opportunity for you to have some input into where we think we're going as a spiritual community. Lots going on right now, isn't there? Stick around, take part. We have one more song from Kit, then we're going to take a 3-minute music break, and then we'll be back for our stewardship gathering. I'll see you in about 5 minutes. Love you all. Have a great week.
Everybody's got a story. Lord knows I've got mine. All our pain and all our glory, all the masks we hide behind. I'm standing here and wonder at my faith in things unseen, holding back, diving under. There is no in between. Everything's a lesson, everyone's a mirror, no matter where I am. But when my heart is open and my mind is clear, I know I can. Return to love, return to love. Oh, return to love, return to love. I'm deconstructing my defenses, dismantling my pride, making making peace and mending fences with who I am inside. When I let myself go deeper, love is closer than my breath. My master and my keeper are beating right here in my chest. Everything's a lesson, everyone's a mirror, no matter where I am. When my heart is open and my mind is clear, I know I can. Oh, return to love, return, return to love. Oh, return to love, return, return to love. Everything's a lesson and everyone's a mirror, and everything I do, my heart is open and my mind is clear. Now I'm asking you to, oh, return to love, return, return to love. Oh, return to love, return, return to love. Oh, return to love, return, return. Oh, return to love, return, return to love, return, return to love, return, return to love.
I feel a fire burning deep within my soul. I do, and I need to let it out, or it's bound to lose control. I do, 'cause I'm tired of holding on and settling for knowing if I'd let it burn, I could be so much more. I could let my dream live in me, or I can live my dream. Walking through this day-to-day is harder than it seems, but I've got an easy choice to make. What will it be? Let my dreams live in me, or live my dreams. I'm so scared that if I take this leap, I might not fly. I am, but I'm sure the greater sorrow is if I don't even try. I am so tired of waiting for the moment to appear, where everything is perfect for me to conquer my fear. But I can let my dreams live in me, or I can live my dreams. Walking through this day-to-day is harder than it seems, and I've got an easy choice to make. What will it be? Let my dreams live in me, or live my dreams. I could just stay here and live with a dream in my heart. What good walking through this day-to-day is harder than it seems. But I've got an easy choice to make. What will it be? Let my dreams live in me. Let my dreams live in me. Let my dreams live in me. Or live